All right, then let's get started. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this postgraduate online information session from the School of Business and Management at Queen Mary University of London. Thank you for joining us today. We are delighted to have you here. My name is Endre, and I am a final year student studying BSc Marketing and Management. Today's session is on our MSc Supply Chains. This is your opportunity to learn more about the course, hear directly from our academics, and ask any questions you may have about studying with us. Now, I'm pleased to introduce our speaker for today, Guven, who will be sharing more about the MSc Supply Chains and what you can expect as a student on the course, as well as the course organizer, Eun-Seok, who will be joining us as well. Over to you, Guven.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amrit, for the nice introduction. I'm Demirel. I'm a reader in supply chain management. And in my research, I use mathematical and statistical methods to analyze the sustainability and resilience of supply chains and provide solutions to problems like reducing food waste. So I'm excited about this program, which is close to my research area, and it's very research-led. And we are directing this program with my colleague Eun-Seok, who will introduce himself now.
Thank you very much, Guven. I'm Eun-Seok. I'm a reader in operations management and School of Business and Management and Queen Mary University of London. I'm a co-director for MSc Supply Chain Management with Dr. Guven Demirel. And my research is on the combinatorial optimization with a strong application to scheduling and the manufacturing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eun-Seok. So I will now make a presentation about our program. So feel free to ask questions throughout the presentations. Yes, so our program is titled MSc Supply Chain Management, and so I'm sure we are familiar with the university, but just some key achievement statistics about the university. So Queen Mary is the most inclusive Russell Group university, and it has been selected as the top university for social mobility and public engagement. And it is highly ranked according to different ranking lists. So in the World University Ranking 2024, we were ranked 5th in the UK for quality of research and 14th in the world for the same. And we were nominated as finalists for UK Social Mobility Awards. And we are situated in the financial heart of the country. And we have several campuses, 5 campuses in total. Our main campus is the Mile End campus. The photo at the top is a picture from the campus where you can see the financial hub of the city in the far distance, and it is along the canal, so it's a really nice campus, and this nice building is the Queen's building, which is my favorite on the campus. So there are shops, cafes, restaurants, a gym, a bookshop, and many other things in the campus, and it is very close to the center of the city and very well connected with several metro underground lines. So our School of Business and Management, we focus on 3 aspects. So these are our 3 key values for the School of Business and Management: social justice, sustainability, and good governance. And these are reflections through our programs, including our MSc Supply Chain, where sustainability is key. Sustainable management requires a key supply chain perspective. Because most of the emissions, for instance, come from suppliers and upper tier suppliers. And fairness in supply chain is a key research area, and achieving social justice is a key supply chain aspect, and governance of supply chains has become a key topic with many issues, and for instance, transparency across supply chains. For instance, tracking, identifying, and taking actions against the use of child labor and other unjust practices are important for good governance, and supply chain is interacting more and more with governance. And at SPM, School of Business and Management, we conduct impactful research through different research centers and research groups. So our MSc Supply Chain Management is closely linked to Center for Globalization Research, where we have research talks on different aspects of internationalization and their impacts on supply chains. And also, we engage closely with the Computational and Quantitative Methods CQM research group. For instance, last year, we had one workshop on digitalization in supply chains, where we hosted world leaders in research and practice on this topic. And we care about teaching, and we are excellent in teaching, which is demonstrated by our accreditation by AACSP and other accreditation schemes. And our teaching is underpinned by UN Prime Principles. We have an Athena Swan Bronze Award. And our teaching, most importantly, is research-led. So we are a very research active supply chain group, and you will see this in your classes. So now I will move to our program, MSc Supply Chain Management. So to start with, why study MSc Supply Chain Management? So the international business constitute the backbone, the backbone workforce of the global economy. So if you want to produce something, say if we take the example of a car, it constitutes of many components, and no individual firm produces all of these products, components themselves. And instead, so sorry, I was turning off the notification. So the supply chains are the backbone of the international business, because, as I was describing, so no firm produces everything. And especially when you produce complex products, then you outsource parts, and in some cases, most of your production. And then you buy from the best places in the world. So if you will, for instance, the leathering for the car, then you will produce from main leather producers where you have cost advantage. And when it is high-end technology products, then you can select suppliers according to innovation. And these sources, sometimes they are local, but sometimes they are global. And this international business, international trade, is linked through the supply chain structure, supply network structure. And supply chain management is core for competitive advantage, because if you manage your suppliers well, then you reduce your costs and you boost your innovation. And with the right portfolio approach, by distributing your suppliers to different, for instance, geographical regions, you can mitigate your risk, and it provides resilience because you can use the capacities of your supply chains. But if not done rightly, then supply chains can become really detrimental and can pose risks to your production. So managing supply chains are crucial for success in the modern world. Therefore, supply chains are high on corporate, industrial, and government agendas. So now, for instance, in the UK, there is a big UK supply chain task force, which constitutes of many supply chain analysts and policy teams that analyze for instance, the resilience of supply chains. What affects the resilience? So if there's a crisis elsewhere in the world, which supply chains are affected and how long can we expect it to take to affect us, and what policy options do we have to protect our supply chains. So it's really high on corporate agendas, industrial agendas, and government agendas. And now supply chains are really massive. So we are talking about thousands of suppliers that you need to manage, and you can't really do this ad hoc. And therefore, you need the tools of the modern advanced tools of analytics to apply to your supply chains and logistics so that you can be successful in this highly competitive environment. And these methods are statistics, machine learning, optimization, and network science. And our program specializes in these methods and their applications in the supply chain management domain. So, and for that, we use computational tools, most importantly, R, Python, and optimization solvers, which we do through Python interface. So our program focuses on supply chain management, so this key area for global businesses, and we are doing it with an analytics focus, and we will be teaching you tools that you will be able to apply to in your future works and future careers. And throughout our program, you will be able to engage with industry. So this is a very industry-informed program. You will be able to engage through several events, guest lectures, and projects, and I will come to that shortly. And for graduation, you will work on real analytics projects for firms. So instead of classical dissertation, we have industry projects. So you will learn several tools and management principles, approaches throughout your semester, throughout the first 2 semesters. And in the last semester, in the summer, you will work with real companies and try to solve their supply chain challenges by using the tools you developed. And I will come to some examples of that later. And the entry requirements for those who are considering to apply to our program, you need to have a 2-1 or above at undergraduate level and sufficient quantitative elements on mathematics and statistics. So 1 quantitative module at least. And then if you are from a less quantitative program, which is perfectly fine, and we don't assume that you are an expert in statistics, but you should have taken at least 1 quantitative module on mathematics and statistics, and then we have 1 preparatory, 1 module that prepares you for the program, that you study before you start in October. That happens typically in September. So this is the pre-sessional module. And then throughout your studies, each module will start with a more introductory content that will prepare you for the rest of the module. And the last requirement is English proficiency, and you can check the university website for the required scores. And I highlighted our engagement with the industry. So we invite speakers from industry for guest lectures. So for instance, so these are some companies that gave guest lectures this year. So Procter & Gamble, Tata Consultancy Services, Syngenta, and Office for National Statistics. So they came and presented their supply chain challenges and the way the analytical tools they used to address these challenges. So this gives you an idea of how you can use the tools and management approaches you develop here to solve real-world problems. And then now students are, so now we are in this summer semester, and students are working on their graduation projects. And so we have graduation projects from, Tata Consultancy, Cooper Vision, and a third company which students are working to solve problems on. So, for instance, Cooper Vision uses advanced artificial intelligence methods to monitor their production, and our students are working on several analytical challenges in that domain. And for the Tata Consultancy project that I wanted to highlight, students are working on a large-scale simulation model and analyzing the supply chain resilience under different conditions. And once you graduate after university, so you can continue your careers in different domains. So you can become a supply chain analyst, supply chain data scientist if you want to be more technical, or you can manage supply chains and become a supply chain manager. You can do consultancy, combining the technical skills with the managerial skills you have learned. You will be learning production planning, warehouse planning tools, logistics tools, and you can use these and become planners. And also you can follow a more academic route, and do a PhD on supply chains, logistics, operations management, operations research, or analytics, following your master's program. So, and I will finally talk a bit about who will be teaching you, who you will be interacting with. So you have met myself, Guven, and Eun-Seok. So we are program directors, co-program directors. And here is the team who will teach you different modules. Andrea will teach you a data science module. Imran teaches modules on operations management and analytical frontiers in supply chains. Kamran teaches a module on advanced programming for blockchains, and also production planning and control for supply chains. So Lilith and David will be leading the summer projects with companies. And David is also teaching a module on logistics optimization. Maria is teaching a module on demand forecasting and demand management and pricing. And Natalia is also teaching a module on environmental analytics. And also Eun-Seok, whom you have met, is teaching two core modules, two important modules on management science, introduction to optimization, and on programming with Python. And this is the structure of the program. So you should be able to identify who is teaching what. In semester one, we will be making an introduction to supply chain and operations analysis. And then we have one module on environmental analytics for supply chain. So that is focusing on sustainable supply chain management. Then we have modules on coding with Python and management science taught by Eun-Seok. So introduction to supply chain is taught by Imran, and environmental analytics by Natalia. And in semester two, we have three core modules: supply chain planning and control, taught by Kamran; analytical frontiers, taught by Imran; and data science by Andrea. And one elective from one of the three modules: project management, complex networks and innovation, and international business and strategy. And we have a semester three in which you first take two taught modules, one on demand forecasting and pricing by Maria, and one transportation and logistics analytics by David. And then we have a capstone project where you work with companies as we discussed before. And in terms of assessments, our most modules are mainly assessed by an individual report. So you work on a project and write a report about it in most of the modules. So we want our program to be very hands-on and applied, which you can transfer later to your career. So we designed it around projects and reports. And in some cases, it has a group component, and then you make a presentation of your report. And in some cases, we have a midterm test, which tests the learning of key concepts and tools outside the report, outside the individual project component. And this is what I wanted to tell about our program. And for those interested, I added some results about a key topic that we will, for instance, be covering in our module, and that is about our supply chain resilience. So that is a very important topic. And supply chains, our logistics networks are in the spotlight because of disruptions. And we will be talking a lot about different disruptions that have happened in the past years. And one instance is, for instance, the Suez Canal blocking and its impact on global supply chains. And you can think of many disruptions such as Brexit, COVID-19, Russia-Ukraine war. And then it's really crucial to be able to understand and manage your supply chains so that you can maintain resilience under such disruptions. And so to give you some idea on the impact of COVID disruptions, for instance, because they were very high scale. So you can see the manufacturing, construction, and retail were hit highly, whereas service sectors were not hit that strongly from the pandemic. And what might have gone wrong? That is, so these are industries where it is about products, and these are industries which are mainly about services. And why this were hit is because of their nature. So you should have inventories to be able to buffer against shortages of goods. But the historical trends from 90s to until the COVID was a decline in inventories with the drive to increase efficiency, so with the lean movement, just-in-time systems, so which reduced inventories over time, which made it vulnerable to shocks like COVID. And now we are seeing a change from just-in-time systems to just-in-case systems, which is looking for a balance between efficiency and resilience. So now a lot of research is happening in this domain. So how and where do you keep inventories? How do you place inventories strategically? What are the flexibilities you need in production? So questions like that. And we are capturing in our program tools and managerial questions and decisions that relate to these type, for instance, in the supply chain planning and control module. And then, so we said resilience. So how do you measure resilience? So resilience can be taught as, so you have an ideal level of, as for instance, a service level, and then you are hit by a shock, and then you recover from that. And resilience concerns how quickly you can recover and how much of capacity and how much of, for instance, the service you can recover at a given time. So it is, you can measure things from this area under the curve. And so risks, these disruptions make supply chain vulnerable, and resilience is a measure of how you can respond to these risks. And several metrics have been introduced from the curve that I have described. So things like time to recover, how quickly you can recover, and what level you can recover, and how much performance you lose. And there you can define these in terms of different operational metrics like lead time ratio, back order rate. Okay, so these things are some of the concepts you will be learning throughout your studies, and you will learn how to measure those. So when you move to a firm with the right data, you will be able to measure resilience, report resilience, and propose different managerial actions to increase resilience of these systems. And what are these actions? So with resilience, we talk about absorptive capacity, adaptive capacity, and restorative capacity. So those are different lines of defense. And you can do, for instance, use multiple sourcing, but it comes with a cost. So when do you apply multiple sourcing? How many sources do you use? Where do you place your suppliers? So these define how much shock you can absorb. And then you can adapt. And you can, for instance, reroute when there is when the Suez Canal was blocked. So you can reroute your deliveries through alternative channels. And you can use backup suppliers, you can communicate with your suppliers. So these type of things you will learn throughout your studies. And the key concept that you will learn is visibility. So to be able to apply these, for instance, rerouting using backup suppliers or using alternative sources, you should understand when you will be hit and which part of your supply chain will be hit. And for that, you need visibility, traceability, and transparency. So these are concepts that you will be learning in your studies. And then, for instance, you can quantify for a given large-scale supply network how visible different parts of that is. Okay, so this is what I wanted to present about our program, and we can stop there. And if any questions, we are more than happy to take those.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Guven. Thank you for that in-depth explanation of your course. Thank you so much for joining us today and for being part of this postgraduate information session for MSc Supply Chains here at the School of Business and Management, Queen Mary, University of London. We hope this session has given you a clearer picture of what it's like to study with us and what makes our program and our community so distinctive. As a reminder, applications for our postgraduate programs are open, and we encourage you to apply as early as possible. You can find detailed information about entry requirements, course content, and how to apply on our website. If you have further questions after today, please don't hesitate to get in touch. We're here to help. You'll also receive a follow-up email with useful links and contact information in case you'd like to continue the conversation. We hope to welcome you onto our campus soon. Thanks again for your time, and we wish you all the best in your postgraduate journey. Take care and goodbye for now.